go to the product demo proper now. Over to you, Hong.
All right. So just like what I said just now, basically how you can access the invoice is basically from the left menu, which is very similar to our AIB. All right. So you just need to click on the e-invoice system after you log into your BSM database. And that system actually will open a screen for you. Unlike our billing, it's a built-in system, but this one actually make it as applications. And now that's why you can see there's a pop-up screen. All right. But inside, all the features, all the screen, all are the same exactly like the one in our AIB. Okay. So that's why, like I mentioned just now, no new learning curve for you all. So same thing. When you go to the company, first thing you need to go is actually the company configurations. Then here, basically, we will duplicate or actually we will copy all the existing company info from your existing BSM company profile to this screen. For those field which is not exist in BSM, you will require to maintain here. For example, maybe the city, town, state, postal code, and also the country. Okay, so included of the MSIC code and also the TIN number. And of course, before you can do the submission, please make sure you activate your send method, just like the one in our AIB. So I will show you how to actually make one changes and it will reflect to all your customer for this state and country mapping. So they do not need to, you do not need to actually remap everything, assuming maybe today you have 100 over of the supplier or maybe the vendors or maybe the ownership. So you just need to change that particular setting, then we will auto reflect to all these customer. Okay. And yeah, same thing, make sure the address, everything is filled up and contact details and of course the TIN number. All right. So supplier also the same. So supplier is referring to your vendor list. So just need to make sure all these require fill up. Other than that, classification code. So different from AIB. AIB actually we are using we are actually displaying the item and also the service as of the list for you to do the mapping. But here actually we are allow you to do the mapping for the charges and also the expenses, because in BSM basically you are using the charges and expenses as your item for the billing. Okay, and also remember in BSM we have a late charge transactions. It's actually part of the item, but because this is system defaulted, so it is not part of your charges list. So that's why we actually provided a system default code for you to do the mapping for the classification code and also the MSIC. So basically, this is the system default late charges code. What you need to do is just to make sure this one is mapped correctly. So when you do the transmission of the late charges transaction, you basically forward over to the LHDN portal. All right. So for my case now, just maybe put this one as an example. Then yeah, followed by the currency. In BSM also, you do have the multi-currency maintained. So if system detected the code, then basically system can automate for you to do the mapping. Otherwise, when you see this field is empty, you actually just need to change the mapping from here. All right. So the same for the UOM. Like what we mentioned just now, most of the time, especially for the vendor invoice, unit is not required. But because this is required for the invoice transmission, so that's why we also default a unit called unit here, and then you just need to do the mapping. All right. Okay. So now after this maintenance screen, let's go back to the screen that I mentioned just now, the state and country, because this is an existing screen. So you can go to the maintenance miscellaneous file and then country. And we actually added one field called invoice code in this country maintenance. So like I said just now, if let's say your ownership and your vendors has already have the system country maintained in the maintenance. So what you need to do is just come to this screen and then make sure this E-invoice code is mapped correctly. The system actually will auto map for all your customer and also vendors. So you do not need to map it one by one. So the same for the state. Okay. And some other enhancement included of the tax code maintenance, because as you know, last time before the e-invoice version, basically the tax method and SSC type is not exist in BSM, but because of the tax type mapping, this is now required. Then of course system will auto default for you for the system code, and for those newly added code by you or maybe by your customer, you need to review the code list again to make sure it maps to the correct tax method so that it can actually flow to the correct tax method in the invoice portal. So in order to know which tax method reflect in the tax type for the invoice, actually you can check our user guide. Okay. Yep. So for transaction wise, BSM basically we handle the invoice, sales debit, sales credit, and also the vendor invoice. All right. So for sales invoice, basically nothing special. You can just issue as usual the things. For example, maybe I just want to maybe add one new invoice to my tenant or owner. So I don't need to do any extra thing from this screen. So just click on save and go to this screen again. So outgoing dashboard. If you cannot see the transaction here, just make sure you click on the button at the top right, this one. Retrieve the BSM transactions. Okay. So if you can see now, then basically you should need to, just similar to what we have in our AIB. Just click on this checkbox, transmit. Yeah, and remember the default date range for this E1 screen is basically within the month. So assuming now it's already May, so the start date will be 1st May until end of the May. So assuming when you do the testing, you can see the transaction. So basically maybe your transaction is still fall under April, then you need to change the date range. Okay. So same thing. So you can just click on update status and validated, and then click on this one. And basically this is the default template. All right, for the invoice. So if you want to have your own template, then basically you need to customize, and also the step we also provided in our user guide. All right, and if you want to check the detail from the My Invoice portal, so you can do so. So basically, these are all the details that I have actually transmit from BSM. So yeah, 180. Okay. Also click on the hyperlink. You will be able to see the summary. Right. So for the vendor invoice, the same. We also added a self-bill checkbox here. If we want to indicate this is a self-bill, then you just need to check on this checkbox. And system actually will display this transaction, the vendor invoice, into the self-bill tab for you to do the transmission to LHDN. All right. So for console also same thing. So assuming now maybe you want to do some console, then just select multiple transactions and then click on the console. Then you flow over to the console tab. And the first document number will be draft and then followed by the year and the month. Okay, so please note that the running number will be reset every month. Okay, so now assuming this month I have only two consolidated invoice, so basically the last number of this one is 2. So next month during when June, I try to recreate again for the console, then basically the number will be 2506001. All right. So if you want to view the list also, just click on the 3 dot, view list. And you found that if let's say there are some changes needed or maybe the amount is incorrect, you can just click on remove. Basically, we will reset the status back to review again so that you can actually go to the transaction and change it accordingly, right? And for the view transaction screen, is a little bit different from AIB. We basically using this one as a summary screen for you to check the details. All right.